previously by a few guys did not know, the NBA playoffs got pushed back a few days because of something. Not gonna say it because I don't really know it, but some of the games did get postponed. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And if you didn't know, the Toronto Raptors and Boston Celtics game 1 will be on the 30th of August. And on the 29th, which is tomorrow, we will see what we were supposed to see yesterday or 2 days ago. We'll see what we're supposed to see 2 days ago. The Houston Rockets, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Milwaukee Bucks and Orlando Magic, and the Los Angeles Lakers and Portland Trail Blazers. Those are all the matchups that are set. Those are all the matchups that are set for tomorrow. And tomorrow I'll probably make a podcast on the Oklahoma City Thunder and Houston Rockets game and Portland Trail Blazers and Los Angeles Lakers game. Won't be in time for Milwaukee and Orlando though. But this is our Toronto Raptors podcast, so let's move that out of the way. So, for the podcast, the first thing I want to talk about is how the Toronto Raptors are doing right now. How they're looking against Boston. It's not looking well. I do not think they're gonna be able to push past what all of our expectations are. I do think that the Toronto Raptors can win the series, but there's one advantage that nobody's talking about. What I do think the Toronto Raptors need to step up is their game, because on the bench they have Norman Powell and Marcus Gasol. Well, I don't know, in 2K Serge Ibaka's in the starting lineup, but in real life, Marcus Gasol might be on the starting lineup in real life, but what I'm getting at is Serge Ibaka and Norman Powell, or Marcus Gasol and Norman Powell. I don't know which one. One of the two centers is on the bench with Norman Powell. And if Norman Powell plays like the last few games of that Nets series, Toronto could beat Boston. But what people aren't talking about is Boston's bench. And they just think, whoop-de-doo, our starting lineup's going to play 48 minutes a game, so that means we're going to win. There's obviously injuries off, so that's why Gordon Hayward is playing. But Gordon Hayward isn't in this series, so Gordon Hayward won't be playing. That's not going to be fun for the Celtics. So that's pretty much their bench ruined already. I believe Marcus Smart is not in the starting lineup because Gordon Hayward the injuries are off, so Gordon Hayward. I'll switch that so it looks realistic, but Gordon Hayward is injured. Oh god. Hold on. Never mind. injury-free roster. Gordon Hayward's injured. Let me make a roster quick. But that's not the point of the podcast. The point is that Gordon Hayward isn't going to be playing in this series. I'm not sure. Ben Simmons is also in the Sixers already lost. And I don't know what's up with Kyle Lowry. He obviously had that knee injury in that Nets game. I don't know what's going to happen with Kyle Lowry. People were saying he's going to play, but I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Because I'm sorry, but in my opinion, Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Daniel Theis. Yeah, that's a good starting lineup. But how is Enes Kanter, Brad Wanamaker, and Robert Williams going to stop? Let me tell you guys. Marcus or Serge Ibaka, I don't know which one is the starting lineup in real life. How is he going to stop one of Terrence Davis, Norman Powell, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, and Chris Boucher? Did somebody say something? Exactly. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter about Norman Powell. It does matter about Marcus Gasol. And they're probably going to play Matt Thomas. Like, this is just 2K, so all the people who are getting 0 minutes are still going to get some minutes. Matt Thomas played amazing. Stanley Johnson played amazing. But everybody other than Raptors fans are saying, stop getting so hyped up for the playoffs. You just beat the Brooklyn Nets, but I'm sorry. If the New York Knicks slided to the 8th seed and the Milwaukee Bucks beat them, all the Bucks fans are going to be like, yay, yay, yay. So what I think is everybody needs to shush. If your team beat the Knicks, you'd be screaming. You would still be happy. It's the same thing. Like, this is a G League team. Like, we're pretty excited. It's the first sweep in franchise history. It's like, we're allowed to be excited if we won a playoff series. So I think everybody else needs to shush. But it's not the point. This isn't a hating everybody who's not a Toronto fan video. It doesn't matter. But if the Toronto Raptors are even going to get close to taking this series, like Kyle Lowry's going to need to do something. OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, especially Fred VanVleet. Oh my God. Not this. I can wait for a game that's the same as the last one. Oh my, I can't wait for a game that's the same thing. Wow, a shot meter, so cool. I'm gonna pay $80 for a new shot meter that everybody's just gonna turn off anyway. Jeez, but that's not the point. We're not talking about 2K here. The point here is, we're simulating this game, see who would take it. In game 1, in my opinion, I think anybody can take it. It's a 1 p.m. game. Because originally before the games got canceled, I'm not gonna show an article or anything. You guys can look at the articles. You can just search up why did all NBA playoff games get canceled. Just look that up and you can find an article. And I'm not quite sure. It was probably for some like personal reasons. I don't know. I heard something about like a boycott for the Milwaukee Bucks. I heard another rumor that they had to work on somebody's shooting for the Milwaukee Bucks, so they wanted to wait till I can improve his shooting. And I laughed at that article, and I basically said, ha ha ha, why don't you improve Giannis's instead of his? Giannis is more important than some random boycott. So I was getting at Giannis needs to improve his shooting. I made a joke. Ha ha ha, guys. But this is a Toronto Raptors podcast. I would have made an NBA, a mumbling NBA podcast. But the point here is in 2K, look how they make Kyle Lowry play. Just look. He does some dribble moves, pulls up from three, bang. That was a dirty shot from Kyle Lowry. He has a good play style. He has like a kind of play style like me, and that's why I like this Toronto Raptors team. Kyle Lowry's play style is amazing. I love it. Just pull up from three, take some deep shot, deep as hell shot, bank it, but the reason I love this team is defense. Just the crowd. Defense. This is the loudest defense crowd I've ever seen. I got to go to a Raptors game. They shout the hell out of defense. They love that part of the basketball game. And every team wants defense. The Memphis Grizzlies love defense too. Right now, they don't have the best defense, but when they had Marcus Gasol in their lineup, they loved defense, and they still love it. They just don't got it. The fans love defense, just the players don't got it. Oh my God, Kemba. But I saw an argument, and it was like Kemba Walker and Kyle Lowry. That one, I'm excited for that matchup. Not because who's gonna defend, unless you've been smoking for the last 2 years or been living under a rock, you probably know that Kyle Lowry's improved his defense. And if you've been living under a rock for the last decade or so, Kemba Walker's defense is terrible. So we all know who's going to win on the defensive side. That's going to work out for Kyle Lowry. And if it's that bad and he chokes, Fred VanVleet can play point guard. He's their primary, Fred VanVleet's primary position is point guard. He can still play shooting guard. He just has to play shooting guard based Kyle Lowry. So yeah. But Kyle Lowry's a better defender than Fred VanVleet. Kyle Lowry isn't the guy who's going to get any blocks or anything, but he's the guy who can... He's the guy... He can come in big. If Kyle Lowry can play 2016, this team won the championship. No doubt in my mind. If we can get a 2016 Kyle Lowry, that would be amazing. I'm guaranteeing you a championship if the players play like their old selves. If Kyle Lowry can play like 2016 with DeRozan, Serge Ibaka can play like his Thunder days, Marcus Gasol can play like his Memphis days, then we got the championship in the bag, 100%. And even if they don't, we still have a good chance. Because in my opinion, the Toronto Raptors are a top 4 team in the NBA. I think I'm not going to make the argument for the best team, but I think the top 4 are the Clippers, the Lakers, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Toronto Raptors. And I think those are the 4 teams that will make the conference finals. So in my opinion, when it comes down to it, I think Toronto's got this one. It's just like Norman Powell's right there. They're all right there. When someone plays bad, you go on to the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. With Boston, if Jason Tatum has a bad game, the team is doomed. If Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown has a bad game, then let's say Jaylen Brown had a bad game. Then Jason Tatum or Kemba Walker has to drop 40 points. Let's say Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown had a bad game. Kemba Walker's going to have to drop 60 points or else the team, out of all their misery, is screwed. So it's if any of their 3 primary players have a bad night, then the team is done for it. That's just my opinion. You gotta think of it that way. That's really how you gotta think of it. You gotta think of it as who you can't, for maybe the first and some of the second quarter, the Celtics can beat up or lead up, like build a lead. But once the bench comes in and the starters are sitting down, we have a clear win for Toronto, and they can take back the game. Then the starters come back. Celtics build up another lead. Third quarter, Toronto takes a lead again. Celtics build back up a lead. Toronto takes it again. The Celtics build up a lead. Like, it's just going to go on and on. Toronto's just going to take the lead back. Because I'm sorry, but unless Enes Kanter averages 40 points a game, the team is screwed. Well, I was exaggerating. Unless Enes Kanter has a good series, then they're doomed. Because usually Gordon Hayward's on their bench and they put Jalen or Marcus Smart at shooting guard and make Jalen Brown a small forward, Jason Tatum a power forward and stuff. Daniel Theis a center. So usually they're used to having Gordon Hayward on the bench. He comes off the bench, has a good 18 points a game, and the Celtics are set. In my opinion, Boston doesn't deserve to beat them just because this team has 17 rings. You don't need any more. Like the franchise, like they're done. They're accomplished 17 championships. The franchise is good. They're good. They're taking the bag. And they got it. The Lakers are still up there too. The Los Angeles Lakers have pretty much like a 30 to 40% chance to tie up Boston and LA. And a big deciding factor for this series is Marcus Gasol and Serge Ibaka, basically the only two centers that get minutes. Both can shoot threes. Enes Kanter and Daniel Theis cannot shoot threes. In the Raptors team, there's two things that they love that I also love, and that's why I'm a Raptors fan. Defense and threes. They take so many threes. They miss, just try again. Like, that's why Kyle Lowry is one of my favorite players. He takes that. Oh, he broke it. Go on to the next one. Like, watch. Marcus Smart. And their defense is tight. Like, that's why they're up. Is their defense is tight. Serge Ibaka's takeover. Like, Fred VanVleet just stripped it. Jason Tatum touched it. He just got them the ball back. Eastern Conference. Toronto, Boston. What? Wait, what about Milwaukee? They're the first seed. Toronto's the second seed. Boston. In my opinion, the Raptors have been doing amazing in the last like 5 years, even the last decade. Ever since like 2015, 2014 is when this franchise really brought themselves together and said, hey, we're not being the bottom of the Eastern Conference anymore. It's time to step up our game and do something. Kyle Lowry has an outstanding season in 2016. 2017, well, 2016, let's go back to 2016. The best year, at the time, the best year in franchise history, and we made it to the conference finals. At the time, it was the best year for Toronto in franchise history, because that was 3 years before we won the ring. So, that was the best year in Toronto history. And then we lost to LeBron, which I don't like to talk about. We lost to LeBron. I was upset about that. Not gonna get started on that one. LeBron beat us. It was depressing for Raptors fans, because for once in their lives, they had a chance at a goddamn championship. and the Raptors were gripping on just to make the playoffs, and like it felt like when your grandma bakes you cookies. It was amazing that this team actually made it to the conference finals. Because Vince Carter missed that shot, so we didn't make it. Unfortunately, Vince. So, all right. Vince. All right, but that's off track. Vince. I don't like to talk about Vince Carter. He missed our 2001 run at a championship. Vince Carter, man, it's just like, come on, man, you missed it. But it's good because Kawhi made it. So, Vince, in your face. You ruined Toronto's chance at something to succeed, and you missed it, but Kawhi made it, so you're good. But back to the point. The point is, the reason Toronto's going to take down Boston, though, it's just so many things. Most people say Boston has more talent. Don't mind Gordon Hayward, because he's not going to be playing in this series. Don't mind Gordon Hayward. Pretend that's, I don't know, somebody else. Pretend that's not Gordon Hayward, and pretend that's somebody else on the Celtics that isn't very good. I'm just saying that Toronto has a better bench. That's the first quarter, if anybody's actually watching that. But the reason this series is so important to Toronto fans and stuff is because we want to show people that we have the momentum and we don't need Kawhi. Because if you look at our stats statistically, we did better without Kawhi. If you look at what we're doing on the basketball court, we're worse without Kawhi. But, yeah, maybe, I don't know why the Raptors didn't do a sign and trade, and I have 2 questions for Kawhi Leonard if he somehow clicks on this video, that he probably won't in 5,000 years unless it comes popular. Why would you leave the franchise you just won a ring with in your first year? I'm not going to be a baby because we won the ring, yeah. But why? Why? There was 2 other times in history where you would probably burn or destroy someone's jersey. And I'm getting ready to burn Kyle Lowry's if he leaves Toronto on that in 2021. I'm getting ready. So, my question is, and this big question is, can Toronto do it without Kawhi? Most people would say no. But think about it. We're minusing 1 small forward. Like, we would have beat the Warriors without Kawhi. Because Durant and Thompson getting injured, this team could do pretty good against that 2018 Warriors team. 2017 Warriors. This team could be that Super Team Warriors team. And they might 100% beat them, but they have a good chance without Kawhi. But the big question is, can Toronto do it without Kawhi? Most people would say no, but you gotta realize, Kyle Lowry's doing better. Pascal Siakam's doing better. You don't focus on the players we get, you gotta focus on how our players are improving. Pascal Siakam has improved a lot since last season. Kyle Lowry's improved quite a bit. But there's still one thing we have to have, but there's still one thing that makes me, and it still makes me mad to this, like, they had to trade DeMar. That out of anybody, it was DeMar DeRozan. Like, if you, because at the time in 2018, Kawhi wasn't, he was a star, but at the time, you could have traded him for DeMar DeRozan. And then he stepped up his game, and ever since last year, he's really started the prime of his career. So, In my, he just turned it over. In my opinion, it was a smart trade for the championship. Because there was no way we were beating the Super Team Warriors with DeMar. Well, I did just say that we could beat them without Kawhi. But the reason DeMar wouldn't fit into the current lineup is because his two kryptonites, his two weaknesses, are the two things we do best. 3-point scoring and defense. So DeMar is basically a paint piece small forward. And he can shoot the midi, though. But he can't shoot a 3, can't play defense. So I could see him as like a bench scorer. Like maybe like a Matt Thomas or a Terrence Davis. But I don't see him. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. And this is just my opinion. If DeMar, I would love to see DeMar back in a Toronto, and I would just love it. It would be amazing. Problem solved. All right, but it's just like it's just like, come on. His two weaknesses are two things that keep us on our feet. But I still love DeMar. I would still love him back in Toronto. And you might say, oh, yeah, he'll suck in Toronto, or he's not going to fit our play style. He will fit the play style. Because on the bench, he has Matt Thomas to help him. Marc Gasol or Serge Ibaka. Either way, they can shoot threes. So they don't have to give it to him for 3. He can just play like the center. He will just play like the center. He can play like the center. I'm not saying they are gonna put him at center. They're just gonna make him. But the problem though is his defense. I don't know what we're gonna do about that one. But Nick Nurse is one of the best coaches in the league. I heard he won Coach of the Year, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. So, oh my God, bro. Toronto really can't do it right now on 2K. So they think Boston will beat Toronto. Well, take a lead. But don't mind this. This is just gameplay in the background. But later tonight, I will be doing a simulation on all of Toronto, like Toronto versus Boston series. It'll only be like 1-minute quarters. But we will be doing a simulation on how Toronto's gonna, like, how is it gonna work with Toronto? Like, is Toronto gonna do good? Is Toronto gonna lose?